Hello, this is Mark from Productive Computing and Productive Computing University. You are about to watch a selected JSON lesson from our free course called JSON Fundamentals for FileMaker Developers. Knowing how to create, parse, and manipulate JSON is essential in order to integrate FileMaker with the world of APIs, Claris Connect, artificial intelligence, and more. In this complete course, we'll cover everything you need to know about JSON from the perspective of a Claris FileMaker Pro developer. We're making this course available for free because we feel it's an important and essential building block for you to understand in order to advance your skills to the next level. And once you learn how to manipulate JSON formatted text, you are that much closer to accomplishing your first API integration in your own FileMaker apps. And like all our other courses at Productive Computing University, this course comes complete with downloadable FileMaker files for you to use and follow along with. These downloadable files are available directly in selected lessons inside the course. There's a link in the description to enroll in this free course called JSON Fundamentals for FileMaker Developers at productivecomputinguniversity.com. Okay, now let's dive into the lesson. In this lesson, we talk about the JSON make array function, which is a newer function released with version 21 of FileMaker, also known as FileMaker 2024. So I'd like to wind the clock back here for a bit and go back to an early version of our contact system, one that had the single button to create a JSON object based on these four fields, key and value. And here are the results of that. Now let's suppose that I had a short list of related values. For example, I want to create a table for hobbies, so I can keep track of hobbies for this individual. So I'll make a new table called hobbies. And inside that table, we'll make sure that we add a field for the actual hobby itself and a way to connect the hobby to the contact. So I'll just say ID contact. And then we will design a relationship between these two. So I'll say the primary key from contacts goes over to the ID contact in hobbies. This is the foreign key. Double click this relationship and say allow creation of related records. Now let's throw a portal together here on our layout, representing the newly constructed relationship to hobbies. And the field we'll include is the actual field hobby. Then I'll double click this as a means to get the label for that field, just like that. Okay, and then I'll go back to browse mode. Now we've got a place to store hobbies. So let's enter some values here. I'll just say music, technology, teaching, cooking, and that's probably enough hobbies for now. So now let's explore this new function a bit, and we'll do that right in Data Viewer. So I'll create a new expression here, and let me get this out of the way so we can see both the expression and the values at the same time. So I want to pull this list into a JSON array. So I can use the JSON make array, and it's looking for three things. It's looking for a list of values, a separator between those values, and the JSON type. So this will be the list of values. I will use another function called list, which will allow me to get the entire list of related values. So I'll pull from the relationship hobbies and use the hobby field for that. Now our separator, I'll leave blank. I'll just put quote, quote, and the type will be a JSON string because I'm using strings, words, as my type. And lo and behold, I now have an array built from that list of values. And the beauty of this is I did it without having to iterate over each record in a loop or any other means to grab each one of these values. I was able to take advantage of the list function in conjunction with the make array function. The two work together to build this nice array. So now I'll keep that in place, and then we'll go back to our script and identify this one script step. Now I'll edit that. So now I will add to this existing formula. As I already mentioned, we are keeping track of name, company, age, and mailing list. So now I want to add a place for our array. So to do that, I'll continue the same options here, except this time our key will be hobbies. And what will be the value of those hobbies? Let me just put a couple of returns here so we can see. That is going to be JSON make array. And I'll need the list of values, which we already know is going to come from a function list. And we'll grab our hobbies and then close that with a right paren. The separator will be quote, quote for now. And then the type is going to be JSON string. Now we have to complete the rest of this formula here. Now here is where we use a type that we haven't really talked about much. We've talked about inserting JSON strings and numbers and even Boolean. This time we are actually inserting an array. So we need to use the JSON array type function. Then we'll remove that last semicolon and we are good to go. I'll push OK, save the script, and then we'll perform the script. So let me temporarily make this smaller so I can see it all on one line. We have the field for age, so the key, the value, the key, the value. Here's my array, alphabetically sorted, H after C, and then we have our array marker, music, technology, teaching, and cooking. And I was able to get that array very easily and quickly using the one function combined with the list function, and I didn't have to go to related records, I didn't have to iterate through records, keep track of loops or any of that stuff. This function comes in particularly handy when your list is a simple list of items and you're not necessarily trying to keep track of items and fields and key values and a bunch of other things. So it has limited use for that, but it will come in very handy on cases like this, which is actually more common than you might first think. Now, the other advantage of this JSON make array function is that the separator can be variable. It doesn't have to be a return marker or even a comma. It can be just about anything. So I'll go into layout mode here and I'll make a new field called hobby local, which I'll actually put inside the contacts database. So hobby local. Regular text field. I'll push OK, and then we'll add that to the layout right up here so we can see it. And one thing I want to do is I want to remove the spell check capability from this. Okay. And I should have called it hobbies local. So that's what I think I'll do. Just so we know it could contain multiple values, which is particularly important for a lesson like this. And I use the word local just so you don't get confused between the hobbies being stored locally in one field here versus the related hobbies in a separate table. So if I take that same list of values, but let's suppose they were separated by a pipe. Now, just for fun, let me create a layout calculation below this particular field, and we'll use the JSON make array function. Okay, now what is our list of values? That will be the local hobbies field. What is my separator going to be? I put a pipe surrounded by quotes. And what is the JSON type? It'll be JSON string. Okay, and let me make this a little bit smaller so we can see it better. And we'll tuck this up under here like so. And we'll format this so that it aligns top. Okay, now I'll go back to browse mode. And now we can see our pipe separated values are now beautifully parsed as an array with the proper comma and the items in quotes because they are of string type. So you can feel free to experiment putting your own values here and then watching the layout calc do its thing. Obviously, you'll have to change the layout calculation by right-clicking and going to edit the calculation to change the separator if you decide to use something else as your separator. So this is definitely a handy function when you're making JSON and you want to quickly insert a list of values as an array as part of your payload. It doesn't get any easier than this. In addition, you may find several instances where users will put combined data in a particular field like this. Maybe it's separated by a return, maybe it's separated by a unique character like pipes, or maybe it's just simple separation by commas. In any case, it's easy to extract that using this function because it gives you the power to use your own customized string as a separator. One final word about this. It's a newer function, so you'll need FileMaker 21 or above, also known as FileMaker 2024 or above. Thanks for joining us on this lesson. To enroll in the free complete course, click on the link in the description or visit productivecomputinguniversity.com, where you'll find both free and paid courses on today's most important topics related to the Claris FileMaker platform.